Durant to the Celtics. Genius move or a disaster waiting to happen? What if I told you there's a real, albeit remote, chance that Kevin Durant could wear a Boston Celtics jersey next season? Yes, that Kevin Durant, one of the greatest offensive talents in NBA history, might join the most decorated locker room in the league. But before you get too excited or panic, take a deep breath. This is one of those ideas that even the most die-hard fans can't seem to agree on. A masterstroke by the front office, or the spark that could burn down everything Boston has carefully built over the past few years. Because let's be clear, what's at stake here goes far beyond individual talent. It's the very essence of a project that has been nurtured with patience, strategy, and a clear identity. Today's Celtics are all about cohesion, depth, and a winning culture. Bringing Durant to Boston, especially through a blockbuster trade, could mean giving all of that up. And maybe giving up something even KD can't replace. Durant can still shift the balance, but at what cost? Let's start with fairness. At 36 years old, Kevin Durant is still an elite player. His current stats speak volumes: 26.6 points per game, with eye-popping efficiency, 52.7% from the field, 43% from three, and 83.9% from the free throw line. Those are numbers that would put anyone among the league's best. And yes, in terms of pure offensive skill, Durant remains a weapon capable of turning the tide of a game, or even a playoff series. But here comes the first thorny question. Does his production still translate into wins like it used to? The Phoenix Suns are living proof that talent alone isn't enough. Even with Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, the team is flirting with the embarrassment of missing the play-in tournament this season. Last year, swept in the first round, mercilessly. And this, with one of the most expensive rosters in the NBA. Durant is no longer the engine that can carry a team on his back. He needs a well-oiled system to shine. And guess what? That system, in Boston, is already working without him. So what's really on the table here? Stardom or sustainability? Flash or foundation? Durant still dazzles, no question. But would his arrival elevate the Celtics or unravel the chemistry that brought them banner 18? Now it's your turn. Would you risk everything for a shot at more star power or protect the identity that made Boston dominant again? Sound off in the comments and let's stir the pot. Would KD in green be destiny or a deal with the devil? Jaylen Brown for KD? A trade that defies logic. Here's where the debate gets even more heated. Trading Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. Let's break it down. Jaylen is 28 years old, right in the prime of his athletic and technical peak. He was the 2024 NBA Finals MVP. He's an elite defender, an increasingly efficient scorer, and, most importantly, a product of Boston's culture. He embodies everything the franchise has built since the post-2013 rebuild. Durant, on the other hand, is 8 years older. He has a well-documented injury history. Remember the Achilles tear in 2019? And his leadership style is, to put it mildly, questionable. Swapping a star on the rise for an aging veteran known for bringing instability? It doesn't make sense. Not technically, not financially, not emotionally. Durant would be a short-term figure, while Brown still has many years of high-level basketball ahead. And let's be honest, do you really trust Durant as the centerpiece of a long-term project? Because if you trade Brown for him, that's exactly what you're committing to. Breaking down roster depth for a new Big Three. The cost is way too high. Another scenario people throw around. Keep Brown and Tatum and build a new Big Three with Durant. Sounds tempting, right? A trio averaging nearly 80 points per game. But modern NBA math doesn't play nice with fantasy. To make that happen, Boston would likely have to part ways with Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White. Not just useful players, but strategic ones. Drew was pivotal in the finals. White is one of the league's top defenders. Porzingis brought offensive versatility and rim protection. Taking them out just to fit Durant in, it's like tearing down a perfectly built house to force in a flashy sculpture that may not even hold up in the weather. And we haven't even touched on the tactical side. The Celtics won the 2024 championship playing team basketball, defined by defensive identity and insane depth. Durant isn't exactly known for blending into systems. He is the system, and that goes directly against Joe Mazzulla's philosophy. Would KD fit in Boston? Technically, maybe. Culturally, unlikely. From a technical standpoint, you could argue Kevin Durant would have a role in the Celtics' offense. He's a lethal shooter who doesn't need the ball in his hands all the time. Sounds useful next to Tatum and Brown, right? But here's the real issue. Durant has never been a guy who just fits in. He demands adaptation. Since leaving the Thunder, KD has always looked for environments where he could shine as the main guy. In Golden State, his dynamic with Curry and Draymond was never fully smooth. Even after winning 2 titles, he never seemed truly satisfied. In Brooklyn, chaos took over, partly because he never stepped up as a stabilizing leader. And with the Suns, just look at the standings. Durant's not a team-first type of veteran. He's not like Al Horford, who came in to elevate the project already in place. Durant arrives expecting to be the guy, even if that disrupts the team's harmony. Could the Celtics' locker room, built on collective effort and sacrifice, handle a star who, historically, plays for himself before playing for the team? And what if KD came and it didn't work out? The risk is bigger than it looks. Let's play with the scenario. Durant arrives, Boston gives up key pieces, and he gets injured. Or worse, he clashes with the team's style, or the performance drops. Then what? Right now, the Celtics have the most balanced roster in the league, deep, versatile, and competitive on both ends of the court. A young group, but battle-tested. If all that is broken apart for a short-term gamble, the damage could last for years, maybe a whole decade. And this wouldn't be the first time a super team falls apart before it even gets going. Just ask the Nets, or the Suns. Even the Lakers, when they stacked stars at the end of the LeBron era, learned the hard way. Talent doesn't equal chemistry. Durant is a legend, but is he a leader? This might be the thorniest question of all. KD is one of the greatest to ever touch a basketball. But leadership? That's a different conversation. Leaders face pressure head-on. They lift their teammates during tough times. They're always present, physically and emotionally. Can you name one team led by Durant that overcame adversity to win it all? Because, so far, his most dominant success came with a Warriors team that had already won a title, playing next to Curry, Thompson, and Draymond. In OKC, he left after failing against those same Warriors. In Brooklyn, he helped create a circus with Kyrie and Harden, then bailed when it started falling apart. In Phoenix, he's been quiet, always brilliant, but never with the posture of a true franchise player. In Boston, he'd be stepping into a deeply rooted culture with a locker room full of strong voices. Would he respect that? Or would he once again try to take center stage? Would Celtics fans even accept Durant? Now let's hit the emotional nerve. Boston is one of the most passionate basketball cities in the world. The fans have long memories, expect commitment, and adore players who bleed green. Durant has always been something of a villain to the Celtics. He's been booed at TD Garden, he's traded jabs with fans, and let's be honest, he's never shown much love for the franchise. His arrival wouldn't be a celebration. It'd be met with suspicion. And here's the harshest scenario. Imagine Durant comes in, gets a cold reception, underperforms, and the team falls short of the finals. The pressure would be brutal, and we've seen it before. KD doesn't handle public criticism well. So now the question goes to you, Celtics Nation. Would the risk be worth it? Would you trust KD in green and white, or would it just be history repeating itself? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's debate this one hard. Would you make the trade, or let this one pass?